Hi, I'm Leanne Ely. I'm a nutritionist, a New York Times best-selling author, and some people even say I'm a life coach. I started the Daily Dish Show to share my story, my truth, and my journey to vibrancy, and to inspire others to do the same. Because it's all about grit, perseverance, and finding a way despite the odds. It's about embracing the whole woman, not just the parts that are easy to love, and feeding her heart, mind, body, and soul. But I found that this isn't just my story, it's your story too. It's go time. This is the Daily Dish.
All right, you ready for this? Because I have a good one for you today, and it's about the fear of asking for help. Okay, and for those of you who are in the Hot Melt Sprint group, did you see the post? And did you see everybody come rushing in to say, hey, we love you, we're here for you, and offer help and encouragement and support? That's what this community is about. But I have something that I want to share with you about the fear of asking for help, because I want to encourage everyone to see and feel and be in that place of understanding that doing so doesn't mean that you're just, you're a wimp. Okay, let's start from the beginning. This is a huge fear for everyone, by the way, because I did my research on this, and it says, a lot of people are afraid of asking for help. So, and I get it, because doing so shows a sense of vulnerability. It's sort of like laying on your back like a dog. You don't know, are these other dogs going to come and eat my belly and bite me and hurt me? It's a show of trust. It really is a show of trust, allowing yourself to be vulnerable and opening yourself up for possibly ridicule or mockery, even scorn, criticism. It's a big deal. It's a big deal to open yourself up like that. And, on the other hand it's kind of a pride thing. We're prideful. Oh, I'll figure this out myself. I don't need anyone. We have that kind of a mentality. Or my mother always taught me to pick myself up by the bootstraps, blah, 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 blah. But, what else is that? That's a defense mechanism. It's push back. No, I don't need help. I've got this. I'm strong. We are all stronger than we think we are. But sometimes that's not exactly the strength that I'm talking about. I'm talking about the strength that we didn't know existed inside of us. That's why we're doing the Hot Melt 30, to pull that all out. Aren't we? I am. I am. It is a exercise in strength on a daily basis. And this is how you build muscle, for heaven's sakes. And it hurts a little bit, right? Didn't I just tell you about my triceps? They're killing me. But that's how I build muscle. That's how you get stronger. So it is a strength then to admit it. And it also takes courage to dare say something like, hey guys, shoot, I need help. It takes courage to say that because of all the things we just unloaded. But I'm going to tell you right now, in my opinion, this is the path to vibrancy. This is the first thing. You know why? You're admitting you're not perfect. You're looking to seek and you're looking and trying to seek after excellence. And there is a willingness that's there that can't be there when you're completely self-sufficient and you're unto yourself. When you're unto yourself, it's a pretty lonely game, isn't it? It's isolation all the way. Isolation all the way. You don't want that. But you know what? When you make this decision that you're going to ask for help, you're saying, I'm seeking excellence and I'm willing to hear what you might have to say. That's actively listening too. All of these things, this is pointing toward what? A growth mindset, you think? So the gal who was there, who posted this in our group, I hope I haven't seen her yet today. I hope she's going to listen to this, because I just want to encourage the living daylights out of her and anybody else who feels just a little bit, like I need the help. I need the encouragement. Someone just come to my side, just help. It makes all the difference in the world. So when we're willing and we're asking for help, you know what? 5 things show up. It allows for these 5 things, or actually I have more than that. I've got 7 things. It's going to allow for 7 things. You ready for this? Here it is. First of all, it allows for a big picture analysis. Big pictures. Without a big picture, we have no vision for the future. That big picture is what tells us what's going on. And it allows us to analyze. It allows us to see the things that aren't working. There's nothing wrong with that because nobody does it perfectly, right? We are striving for excellence so that we can do a better job. We are striving for excellence so that we can find our vibrancy. That's how we find it. And you know what? Just striking out and asking for that builds a new part of us, a new part of our character. And that's everything. That's everything. And when you're looking for this, at this big picture analysis, you know what you're doing? This is how you stop holding yourself back, right? Because you're saying, guess what? I don't have all the answers. Because it's true. None of us do. And when you do this in spite of the fear, you're saying this to the amygdala, right? Take that. I'm done with you. And you get what you can. You get that you can't have what you want till you see it. That's important. When we can see what it is that we want, when we can feel what it is that we want, that's when our visions become alive. And we can't get to that place of a really solid vision until we do a big picture analysis. And that's exactly what this is. Big picture analysis. There's parts that's just not working. I found myself doing X, Y, and Z, and I don't want to do that. What are your ideas? When we do that, boy, that's when things start to change. Mistakes and all, right? Mistakes and all, because listen, as a human being, one human being to the other, we're going to have many an Edison moment where we figure out what doesn't work. What does that mean? It just means that we have now put one more thing off. This doesn't work. What do I need to do next? This is why we have that correction area in the journal. It's always a matter of dialing in and refining and dialing in and refining. Not to get to perfect, but to get to excellent. And excellent exists. And it is on the path of vibrancy. And when you make that decision to turn the corner and to stop with, all this I'm overwhelmed, I'm on the struggle bus, I won't ask for help, etc. We can see what happens when people get overwhelmed. But before you get overwhelmed, you can ask for help. Before you get to the place of living on the struggle bus, you can ask for help. Asking for help is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of strength. It is a sign of being willing to put yourself out there. It is a sign of being a wise woman, of stepping up into the next level of what you want your life to be. And I can't even tell you how much I applaud that. And when I see that, I do it myself. If there's something I don't understand, I'm going to ask questions. I'm kind of sparring with one of my health friends right now about a couple of different things. I'm not going to get into it. And, I said, but, the source that you're citing here is just like, wonky doodle day. And he said, yeah, but the facts are there and you can't dispense that. And I said, listen, I didn't say this, but, that's the whole thing. It's like, you got to have it all the way. You have to have it from the core all the way through. You can't have, but it's so true. And it comes from this wonky source. No, you can't do that. And that's the analysis part. When we're analyzing what it is, when we're analyzing what needs to be taken care of and what needs to be corrected, then we need to go into big picture analysis and extrapolate out the stuff that needs to be fixed. Just like that. Look at the solutions and see, do they match? Look at the solutions and see, is this the correct way to go? It makes all the difference in the world. And number 2 is we've got to face it. Ignoring the fact that you need help just puts you in the place of finally quitting. And if we're going to have grit and not quit, then we're going to have to face the facts. We all need help at some point, don't we? Unless you have something that I don't know of, some superpower that keeps you from having to do this. But for me, I'm telling you, I need help quite a bit, a lot in different areas, but I'm also going to ask, well, are you sure about that? Because I'm going to make sure that the sources are are correct. It's why we do our own. It's why I say don't just take anything that I say. Go do your own research. Go to PubMed and go find out for yourself. This is how we become solid in what we feel. This is how we own and have our own, take responsibility for our ideas, our opinions, and new ideas, and the willingness to go forward and try something new. So when we face it, well, let's just take and unpack what that looks like. When you're facing it, what does that mean? It means that you are confronting inside of you something that you've already felt. I'm scared, I'm nervous, I'm this, I'm that. When you see that, that's what it is. And then it'll either lead to one of two things. One, seek the help that you need, or two, bottle it up and just grit it out and keep trying anyway, which will 99% of the time lead to quitting. Or you can just sit there and cry and just throw yourself on the floor like, a 3-year-old in the middle of Target. Hopefully not the canned goods aisle, because it gets real busy. But that's what we do, When we're brave, though, and we step out of our comfort zone, this shows us that we're smart and that we have a growth mindset. We're willing to grow. We're willing to step out. We're willing to take that risk. That's everything. And the whole thing about a fixed mindset versus a growth mindset, I believe that was on Monday's show, if you haven't seen it already. And I illustrated that with my little board. I've got my board to show what the difference between those two. I found it very enlightening. That's why it's on that board. And it showed me the places where I have weaknesses that need to be fixed in order to be growth oriented and not fixed. It's really very powerful stuff. Asking for help, too, number 3, it's also very authentic, isn't it? You figured out that there's a weakness here. You figured out that you don't have it figured out. You figured out that you need other people. What does this do? This gives you an opening to a solution, maybe a few solutions, because you've opened the door and said, yes, I'm listening. Give me your advice. This isn't unsolicited advice. This isn't just a bunch of people going yammer, yammer, yammer. These are people who are coming to your aid to say, I'm here to help. And if you do this, we all have this fear, right? It's fearful. It's a scary thing. It is so vulnerable. But doing so absolutely 100% frees you from having that fear again. It really, pinkies up. I promise you, I promise you, I promise you. Think about weaknesses like a weak muscle. It's not a flaw that will never change. It's an integral part of you that just needs to be strengthened. So true. You think about your arms, for example. Well, biceps, easy. Take that same weight and do a tricep kickback. Those triceps are weaker, smaller muscles. The biceps are used all the time. These ones are used a whole lot less. So you really got to concentrate on that. And that, I believe, is where all of us are. We have these weaknesses and we have these places, tender places. We don't want anyone touching them. We want to feel strong. We want to feel like we've got it together. We don't want anyone thinking that we're less than. And on the contrary, I think everybody elevates you to the next level and saying, look at her, she's brave. Look at her, she's willing. Look at her. She's going to take this information. She's going to fly to the next level. You watch. And it's true. So that, it's being authentic. And it also gives you, like I said, an opening for a solution from people. It's great. Asking for help also makes you real. It makes you real. Just like the Velveteen Rabbit. Remember that? What is it that makes you real? That's what the Skin Horse asked. And the Velveteen Rabbit says when you're loved up, when they love the fur off of you and you maybe lose an eye or whatever, but this is what being authentic is about. That's how you love up. That's how you love back. That's how you say, I'm in this circle with you, a part of this community. It's incredible. And you know what I think it does too? It creates admiration from the group. Don't you think? It creates admiration because when admiration, I looked at this post today and I said, I admire her because she didn't give up on herself. Instead, she came and she asked for help. Instead, she was vulnerable and she risked it all and said, this is just what's going on. That's real. That's authentic. That's being true to herself, and it's being true to you and her community. And it's a loving, wonderful thing to do. And it makes me see her as very competent. You know why? Because she's found a place where the weakness is, and she's trying to gird it up. She's trying to find a solution to this one weakness area, this one area. Everything's going right. I've got the groceries. I've got the exercise in. I've got all these things. And what do we see? We see a competent woman saying, here's the part that's being difficult. Here's the part that's hard for me. Here's the part where I seem to be slipping. And all of these solutions come in, and all of these lovely people come in and say, you know what? You're not less than, you're everything. And you're strong, and you can do this, and you can get up and you can start again. And all of the encouragement, all of the support. God, it makes me want to cry. But you know what else it is? It's this person saying, I'm doing the work here. I'm trying to figure this out. I'm not quitting on myself because I've got grit. And I'm getting these puzzle pieces put together, one little piece at a time. And that's what that was. That was, fear be gone, fear set aside. That's what all of that post said. That's what it said to me. And yeah, you've got the quit. You've got the grit, not the quit, which I think is just absolutely everything. Because if you hang in there long enough, I promise you there will be an Edison moment when it's no longer a failure, where the light bulb goes off. I swear to you that's true. I know it for a fact. I've done it myself. Don't ever quit on yourself. Pinkies up if you promise never to quit on yourself. Pinkies up. Because quitting on yourself is just not an option. It needs to be taken off the table. And the last thing is, asking for help helps others ask for help. Because you've just set a beautiful example. You've just set a beautiful example of saying, I'm in this group. I'm a part of this circle, this community of people. And if I need help, guess what? She didn't say it, but it was there simply because she posted it. You know what? Somebody else needs help. And that post is going to help somebody else. It's just true. This is how we do it. You remember in The Lion King, and Mufasa's got somebody's holding him up, and the drums are going. It's so cool. And this is the circle of life, Mufasa, talking about the Mufasa stuff. And you know what he said? He was talking about how, when a lion dies, it goes and it feeds the prairie grass, and the antelope eat it, and then we eat the antelope. And he's saying, we're all connected. Now, we're not going to be eating any antelopes or grass or being in Africa or be cartoons or anything like that. But I love that, because this is the circle. This is the circle. And this is how we're connected. And this is our community. And it's a deep communion. It's a deep trust when we bare our souls to our sisters. It says, you are my sister. It says, you're part of my circle. It says, we are all connected. And we certainly are. We're all connected. And when we understand that, the fear of asking for help goes away, because it's invalid. It doesn't match up anymore. You don't need it anymore. You found your people. You found your people, and your people found you. And isn't that a beautiful reunion? Isn't it? Doesn't it just make you feel so connected and so good? And together, we rise up, just like those rising tide lifts all boats. Not only do we rise up, but we help each other be purposeful and find their purpose and be the women that we are supposed to be. The apples of God's eye, even. That's what I see. And that's what I got from that post today. That post was much more than just a post. It was clarity. It was principled. It was a woman on a quest. It was a woman who said, I think more of myself than I used to. It was a woman who said, I'm willing to do this. I'm willing to rise up. Are you willing to rise up? Are you willing to give it your all and give everything that you've got and do the things that you need to do? because that is what's going to create vibrancy in your life. Not all this other garbage, not all the things that, we think. It's not about perfect. It's about excellence. And that excellence is the path to vibrancy. Forever and ever, amen. I love my people too, Patsy. And I'm glad you're part of my people. And I'm glad you're all part of my people. You make me so proud to watch your growth and to watch you just bloom in front of my eyes. It really is magical. And I thank you so much for showing up. I thank you for sharing these videos if they meant anything to you. And I also thank you too for your trust and your being customers, for example, not just part of my community, but actually being customers. And I know you could get your supplements other places, but you get them from us. And that doesn't go unnoticed. I appreciate that so much. You are the light in our lives. And we at Saving Dinner, our dream team, all of us are very grateful for you and very appreciative for you. And this experience, I'm going to tell you, I never thought I would experience a community like this. And here we are, talking about deep things and experiencing them all together. It's something. Peace be with you.
Thank you for joining me today. You can find me on TikTok for daily tips to help support your most vibrant life. And remember, you are the author of your own story. Until next time.